Welcome back to another episode of the Domestique Hotseat podcast. So in August, I received a message on Instagram from One Movement Management asking me to check out this rider. The message included a reel that had a dude racing at the Volta of Portugal, climbing to his first pro win of his career. And they said, check out this dude's story. So I did. And it really hit home. So if you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen a reel I made about this dude. So we're going to be getting into that today. And I'm excited about this. So yes, we don't have a rider that's won a yellow jersey here. And he might not have worn the rainbow stripes, but he is a human story that I think is one that needs to be told. But first, at this point, you might be thinking two things. You might be thinking, oh, man, I cannot stand this dude's voice. Why am I back here? In which case, I'm sorry. My voice is the way it is. I do wish I could sound less upper middle bogan, as we say in Australia. But this is me, and I'm learning to love me. And hopefully you can too. But alternatively, you might be thinking these smooth baritones are exactly what I've been craving lately. And if that is the case, why not subscribe? And if you're rating this, what would be really cool if you could share it with your friends. Spotify and YouTube hate promoting anything that isn't reaction videos or extreme stuff. So, you sharing it around helps. So that's your good deed done. And you can go and be a horrible person now. You can go and steal the SRAM batteries off your mate's road bike at the cafe stop and watch him try and shift gears for the rest of the trip. Whatever. But with that out of the way, it is my pleasure to introduce to you South African cyclist, rider on the Friends Bicycleur team. And I'm sure, Byron, you're going to correct me on that pronunciation, but Byron Munton. Pleasure. How are you?
Really good. Thanks for having me on the show.
Mate, it is an absolute pleasure. I'm really excited about this one. Okay, so we're going to rip in with our icebreaker. This is a quick fire questions. You have 1 minute to answer as many of these as you can. So let's go. Would you rather win solo on a long climb or in a 2-up sprint?
Solo on a long climb.
Okay, Tour de France or Giro d'Italia? Cobbles or gravel?
Gravel.
Headwind or crosswinds?
Crosswind.
Okay, favorite movie?
No comment.
Do you prefer rain jacket or arm warmers?
Arm warmers.
Okay, aero or lightweight bike? SRAM, Shimano or Campag?
Obligate to say SRAM, but having ridden it, I really love it. So SRAM all the way.
Good stuff. Mountain stage or a time trial?
Mountain stage.
Okay, and best efforts song?
Highway to Hell.
Highway to Hell. I actually rate that. As an Aussie, mate, you couldn't have picked a better song. So, look, you are actually, I think I'm going to catch you on a technicality here because you didn't list your favorite movie. I'm going to pull you up. You got through 11, but I think we can't count a no comment. So I think we're going to go with 10 here, which puts you second on our quick fire questions. So you are just behind from memory, and we are starting to get a bit of a list here. It's Kim Kadzau is the only one ahead of you. So, mate, good job. Am I correct in saying that you're on the ground in Rwanda?
Yes, I arrived yesterday midday, went out for a little ride, and so far.
I'm really excited to actually pick that apart a little bit because I think you're the first person. You must be one of the first cyclists in there. What's it like? Is there anyone out on the roads? Has anyone got there yet? All the pros that I've seen are still sort of hanging out in Andorra.
I do see that there's a few of the riders associated with the UCI here already, and I think there are one or two others hiding themselves, but yeah, from when I went out, it was quite late, so I did not see anyone out yet.
What's the riding like over there? Is it decent roads? What are we expecting here?
Yeah, the surface of the road it's like a racetrack basically.
Yeah, really.
And as they say, it's the country of 1,000 hills. And yeah, that's very true. It's just up and down, and all you can see is little bergs. So yeah, it lives up to its expectations.
Yeah, well, we're going to get into the course because the course is a bit of a doozy. But first off, what I'd like to do is so starting off with Worlds, you're representing South Africa. You're a pretty decent time trialist, and you're also, as of recently, clocking some, well, pretty decent wins on the road. Can you give any insight into the South African team plan? Is it all for one for all, or what's the plan here?
Yeah, well, so for myself, I'm the only elite male presenting South Africa in the road race, and yeah, so the I'll be up against teams of eight riders, and yeah, I just have to try to capitalize on that and see where that puts me.
Mm, yeah. Uh, is there any sections? I mean, you seem to be quite a decent climber. That win that I was talking about before, that was up a pretty sheer climb. Do you think this course suits you?
I I think with having two pretty long tours back to back behind me now, I don't think the course, if it was short, would be something that would suit me, but being so long, the fatigue and the durability comes into it a lot, and that's where I feel I start to come into my own. So it's going to be a race of nutrition, and yeah, I think it's going to be one of the most difficult world stays that's been put on. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, I actually wanted to pick your brain about that because, yeah, so jumping forward a little bit, this is your first worlds that I could see. I had to scroll through your stats. Is that correct? This is your first world championships?
Uh, First world was in 2019 as a under 23.
Okay, yes, of course. Sorry, but as an elite rider.
Yes, yes, as elite, yes.
Yep. So, what are your goals? I think we can. I don't think I'm going to offend you by saying rainbows probably aren't in play with people like Pogacar, Remco coming and having a crack. So you're up against some proper
Yeah.
titans. What are you hoping to take away from this world?
Uh, to be honest, it's just to put the jersey as far as possible up the road and yeah, give it on it deserves. And if that means it's finishing the race or a top 20, yeah, just making everyone at home proud and showing that I gave it my all.
Yeah, well, I was having a chat to Kim LaCourte last podcast, and she was talking about how much it means for Mauritians to have her representing the country. I was actually quite surprised when you said that you're the only elite male in South Africa. What's the road cycling scene like in South Africa?
Uh, yes, right now there's been a bit of a, I would say it's in a bit of a dull at the moment with I would say the elite category. There are not too many riders getting UCI points, and yeah, that's obviously what puts the number of riders on the list for world selection. Um,
Mm.
but the junior categories and under 23 categories there's some really strong riders coming up, and so that's really exciting, and I'm looking forward to see how those guys go in the coming years.
And what are the development pathways like there? I was having a chat to someone from South Africa that mentioned that the major velodrome in South Africa is being shut down. Is that still because in New South Wales we're having issues keeping our velodromes open? And I understand that South Africa might be going through similar problems.
Yeah, yeah, that's when I started as a junior. There's always been talks of the Cape Town, Bellville Velodrome closing down. I'm not sure the exact reasons behind it, but there's always talks of it closing down, and they keep seeming to push it out. And it would be a pretty sad day if they do shut it down. As it's got the potential, yeah, the possibility to be a really world-class facility, and uh, I know many guys that have come out of that velodrome and gone on to do great things. So yeah, that's something that they need to keep alive.
Yeah, don't get me started. So our local velodrome, or my local velodrome, is the Dunk Grey Velodrome, and they used that in the Sydney 2000 Olympics. And the funny thing about cycling in Australia, I don't know what it's like in South Africa, but if you have a look at the amount of medals that we pull in cycling, it's the second most gold medal, or the second most medals contributing to Australian Olympics tallies, next to swimming. But swimming pools keep getting rebuilt in Australia, and we can't seem to get a velodrome up. So, yeah, look, it's frustrating. And like you said, so much development comes from the track scene. What was your development? Have you ever given track a go? I can put my hand up and say I've never had the balls to do it. But
Yeah, as a junior, I did a lot of training and a few races on the track, but it was never a focus of mine. But it definitely, yeah, it made a difference in my learning race tactics. Yeah, it's super important, and uh, from a country where we race on big open roads, you the opportunity to race in bunches and fighting for positions, and on the track that gives you the opportunity.
yeah, absolutely. Hey, so back to Worlds, you're on the ground now in Rwanda. What's the vibe like? Is it starting to build? I've read articles that they're giving the entire country the week off in the lead up to Worlds, like just calling it a big holiday. Is it? Are you starting to feel it there?
Um, from when I arrived yesterday, it was I think things are still starting to get set up. I rode past the headquarters, and that's just they've just started putting all the tents up and everything. But riding past people on the roads, there's already kids shouting and screaming. So I think there's a lot of enters coming up. So that's really.
Yeah, nice. And have you recon the circuit yet? I mean,
I just
you've only been there
I
a
just
day, but
managed. Yeah, I just managed to do one part of the time trial course and the final climb, which is in both the road race and the time trial.
mm,
That's going to be quite nasty doing it 15 times in the road race, cobbled climb with gradients up to 13%. So that's going to be a neck breaker.
what are the cobbles like there? Because I want to get onto the TT section, the TT circuit. But first off, yeah, what are the cobbles like? Like, it must be nothing like the European cobbles, right?
Yeah, I would say it's not a place where you're going to break wheels like in Roubaix, but it's still going to have an impact on the race.
Especially, I guess, going up, like you said, it pinches at 13%. So, yeah. So the TT circuit looks really tough. For those who haven't looked at the route, you head out along a straight out and back that includes the climb up the Côte de Nyanza, 2.5 Ks at 5.6%, and then 6.6 Ks on the way back at 3.5%. And then there are two smaller climbs, including that cobbled one that you'd mentioned towards the finish. Bit of a weird TT, but you're not rubbish at them. So, what's the pacing strategy here?
Yeah, well, I think it's gonna be one of those circuits where you really have to bury yourself on the climbs and try, yeah, recover sort of on the descents, and because you're not gonna make huge time up on the descents, but you're gonna be able to make time on the climbs where it counts.
Yeah, and it's not a technical TT. It actually looks like that. The part with the Côte de Nyanza, it actually looks pretty straight. There's no switchbacks or anything like that that I could see. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. The roads are really good, so you can put your head down and just send it.
Do you expect everyone to be on TT bikes then? Sometimes we see these sort of more elevation TTs tend to attract the road bikes, but it's 40 Ks. What do you reckon the gear choicing is going to be?
Yeah, I think for sure TT bikes. The 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 first two climbs are not too steep, and I think yeah, you're going to be going over 35, 40k an hour on some parts of the climb. So it's, yeah, for sure a time trial bike course.
Yeah, nice. I'm actually really excited about it because I'm not a huge fan of time trials, but I really like the mountainous TTs. I think this one's going to be a really interesting one to watch, especially with that cobbled section at the end. So, guys, if you're wondering, hang on a second, Byron looks like he's a lot skinnier, and also that his audio quality seems to be a lot better. The internet we are discovering in in Rwanda is very temperamental. So we think we're on a winner here, but we've had a bit of a thing. So just for continuity, that's what's going on. All right, on to the road race though. It is an absolute burner. I had a look at this and it literally looks like a saw blade. It's just a whole bunch of these jagged teeth. And then right in the middle, there is, I think it's called Mont Kigali. It's a longer sort of, there's 13 laps or 15 laps of a 13K route. And then there's one lap at, I think, 13 laps in or something that goes longer. It's confusing. Is that right?
Yeah, so yeah, we start the final. We do the first laps, which is the city circuits. We go out,
Mm.
do one big lap, and then we enter the same city circuits again with just over 100 kilometers to go.
Yeah. So I've got the 15 laps of the 13K circuit has a cobbled climb. So that's the same one from the TT. That's 1.3 kilometers at 6%. And then there is a longer lap that goes out over Mount Kigali, 5.9 kilometers at 6.9%. And Murder Kigali at a ball busting 11% for 400 meters. So less elevation
Yes.
than last year in Zurich, but the race is averaging about 1,400 meters of elevation. How do you think this is going to play out? Is the peloton just going to see Poggy disappear on Mont Kigali here?
Um, I think that's where the race is going to start. If that's Poggy going 110 k's from the finish, maybe it is, but I think that's where the race is really going to start.
What would be your tip? Who are you tipping on this for the win? Is it Poggy, Remco? Who do you think this favors the most?
Yeah, Poggy, Remco, even a guy like Skelmoser. Yeah, I think it's a pretty open race. It's not a race that suits a pure climber, and it's not a race that suits a pure sprinter. But um, the way it is, I think it can be. Yeah, it could be either or winning the race. It's just someone that can go into the herds and just stay there for a really long time because it's I think going to be close on 6.5, 7 hours of racing.
Mm. Yeah, totally. And again, I would stress to the people watching, listening, go and have a look at the profile. It is unlike any race I've seen. It is literally you are going uphill or downhill from what it looks like anyway, Byron, for the entire route.
Yes, and another thing to take into account, it's at 1,500 meters elevation, the lowest point of the course. So the total elevation is not that like it could be a lot more, but it's another factor that I think makes it probably the hardest world champs they've put on.
Yeah, totally. I've seen a lot of the people getting ready for that have been at altitude. What's your prep been like? Have you look like you've just been doing mountain stage races in the preparation for it?
Yeah,
None of this. Yeah.
yeah. So I
Um
finished Volta Portugal. I had a week and a half off. Volta Portugal was 11 days. Finished Volta Portugal, had a week and a half off, and then did another 9 days of racing. And 2 days later, flew straight here.
yeah, wow. That's crazy. So let's jump over to your roots. So I don't think you'd be too upset with me saying that when you were a kid, you were a pretty shit cyclist. I've got it that around the age of 5, you sort of picked it up, but you somehow managed to fall into a pool learning to ride your bike. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's true. I was just mucking about with my friends, riding around the pool, which the parents advised us not to do, and yeah, I kind of got my front wheel washed out and landed headfirst into the pool. So learned how to swim, and after that, learned how to ride a bike a bit better.
That's amazing. It's funny looking back. I don't know what the regulations are on pools in South Africa, but some of the stuff that we had as kids just would not fly in 2025. I can't
Yeah.
imagine you'd be riding your bike around the pool without a cover on these days.
Yes, yes.
You then managed to go from the guy that rides into swimming pools to picking up some racing in some Devo teams in Belgium and France in your teams. How do you go from being a kid that flops into a pool to making it there? What's the pathway like in South Africa?
Well, yeah, actually, as a when I was in school and high school, I played almost every sport that I could. Actually had well, not an injury, but a really big growth spurt. Uh, year 9, year 10. So I actually had to stop cycling for, well, and not cycling. I had to stop all sports for almost a year because of the condition I had. I had liquid buildup in my hip from the growth spurt. So after that, I kind of sports kind of just yeah, kind of wasn't something that was happening for me, and uh, I think it was around when I was 16 years old. My father bought a bike to try to do some weights, yeah, get some fitness in. And yeah, I one day asked if I could take it out for a ride, which yeah, I kind of took it and never gave it back to him. And yeah,
Yeah.
from then on, it was just yeah, getting into the local races. First and second year junior, doing my first national champs, and then yeah, having the dream of trying to go do it a bit more serious.
Do you remember that feeling that first time you took your dad's bike out? Um, what got you hooked?
Yeah. Um, Looking back now after this current year where I've had some issues, it definitely was that feeling of getting out and my mind being totally free, free in a way that I'm not thinking about anything else other than just trying to go fast, which
Yeah.
is the hyper focus type thing.
No, I can 100% appreciate that. So then 2019, you have an absolute, well, a big year for you. So you're the under 23 South African time trial champion. You are 8th at Junior Worlds the same year, I think, in time trial as well. And at this point, how do you see your cycling career developing as a 29-year-old? Sorry, how old would you have been in 2019?
Uh, 21 years, 20 years old, I think.
So, as a 20-year-old Byron Munton, what do you think's in your future in 2019?
Um, the plans for that year was, well, for the following year, 2020, was to actually go back to Spain, and race again for the team that I was riding for at the time. It was a really good development team, and I was already on the radar of a few teams, and they wanted to see how I would do the following year. And yeah, that was the year COVID hit us, the pandemic, and yeah, everything kind of went, yeah, got put upside down. And yeah, spent 4 months in an apartment riding on an indoor trainer, wheel on trainer, and yeah, just grinding away, and yeah, got some decent results at the end of the year, but yeah, it wasn't the outcome that I had anticipated.
Yeah, it's a rubbish year to decide that you're going to have your breakout year into a professional sports program for sure. So by the time we roll around to 2023, the world is relatively back to normal. You're having a pretty good year, and your sister Jess is also having a cracking year. So Jess, your younger sister, she's got on the bike as well, and she's the national TT champion, third on the road, fifth at Youth Commonwealth Games for the time trial, and fourth on the road. And then she has what the newspapers call at the time an accident, but I don't think it's right to call that at that. Jess is the victim of a horrific crime. Can you take us through what happened there?
Um, yeah, so that morning was actually it's quite a hard one. We were the night before she was complaining at me because I'd not changed her tire yet on her bike. She wanted her bigger brother to do that for her. Yeah, so in the morning it was a bit of a rush, and yeah, but she left a little bit. Yeah, not in the best of moods with me because I didn't change the tire, which I did do before she left. But she met up with a group of friends who they went out, had coffee, and yeah, on the way back, they had left. My parents and I were actually just out taking a walk, and we got a call. Obviously, a call you never expect or can imagine. And yeah, we were, I think, maybe 4 kilometers away from the place where we were staying, so we couldn't even just jump in the car and go straight to to the scene of the accident. So yeah, I jumped, well, I ran home, grabbed the car, got my parents, and yeah, so basically she was riding in the shoulder of the road. In South Africa, we have like a emergency lane where it's the yellow line and then the shoulder. And yeah, car came over the rise and drifted into her lane, and yeah, took her out from behind.
And am I correct in saying that was a drunk driver?
Um, we cannot say drunk because they did not test within the 1.5 hour period.
Okay.
They came. He was intoxicated, but they came really late with the breathalyzer, and he tested in just under the limits. Um, but after 2 hours and taking in a few, the equivalents of the Gatorade, yeah,
Mm.
he had that in the car, so he was downing those to try, obviously, get his system a bit clearer, and that led to them not being able to take him in for blood tests. So he was free to go from the side of the road. And yeah, till today he was supposed to have a court hearing a few weeks ago, did not appear for that, and the last I heard he was supposed to appear in court on the 5th of September, and yeah, still have not heard anything from that.
And how's the family at that time? Obviously, that's like you said, it's a phone call that you never want to receive. How does the
It,
family rally around Jess at that time?
yeah, so, basically, though, for us, the world basically just stopped. My parents, the business they had to put on hold. We had already planned on moving to Spain before the accident had happened.
Mm.
So all the plans that we had made as a family just, yeah, everything put on hold. Yeah, it was a really difficult time. She spent 4 to 5 weeks in the ICU. Could actually be longer. I think it was closer to 2 months. Yeah, not. It's not. Yeah, like I know we suffered, but I know she suffered a lot more, and yeah, that was
Mm.
the hardest thing to see. She had such a bright personality. Everyone loved her, and when she got on a bike, she was a yeah, just a absolute machine. So it was yeah, really hard seeing that.
Who would you say was the better cyclist, Byron? Was it you or Jess?
At the time, definitely she had more potential, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, I even thought at one point that she would uh, potentially turn pro before I did.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so yeah, she had a really good mindset. She was she had her way, and she knew she was going that direction. So yeah, it's really hard, but it's also given
Mm.
me that extra purpose to yeah, I've got something extra to ride for now.
Yeah. So she's in the ICU. What's the outcome? I couldn't actually find anywhere what her actual prognosis was. So how did that end up going?
Yeah, so I don't know if I can say it fortunately, but she besides the brain damage, she had no spinal injuries. She only her jaw was broken and her eye sockets. But her brain damage was the most severe of like if it was any more, she would be brain dead. So she's at the time the brain damage wasn't severe enough to stop her the human body, like her breathing and things, but um the first weeks she couldn't breathe on her own, but she eventually was able to get back onto that. But yeah, the doctor walked into the room on night 2 after the accident with the Bible, and he said we should probably go home and yeah, say goodbye because yeah, it's not looking good for her. And yeah, if a doctor walks into the room with the Bible, it's yeah, not the best sign.
Yeah. So the family has to, or I guess you had the intention of relocating anyway, but the family relocates to Spain for her treatment. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes, yeah. So
Yeah.
September last year, she actually it will be to the day I do start the time trial next week. It will be 1 year since they've been in Spain.
That's beautiful. That must
Yes.
mean, like, one of my questions was going to be, well, I'll still ask it, but did you ever consider giving up cycling
Um,
because of this?
there's been a few times where I've yeah I even to like the week ago or that I'll be on the road and a car will pass me close and I go, why am I still doing this? But at the time, 3 days after her accident, I was back on the bike, and I was like, I can't let that stop me doing this because I know she would also want me to carry on pursuing my dream because yeah, she was one of my biggest supporters as well. So as much as there have been times where I've really yeah thought about pulling the plug, yeah, it hasn't happened.
And there's, for anyone that's interested and is, wanting to go and see more, that you do have an Instagram page that's, I think it's Jesse's Recovery, JESSIES. We'll put a link in the description for the podcast. And there's also a GoFundMe that we'll put in the description as well. I guess, how is Jess going first?
Um, uh, right now she's had a bit of a tough period. They reduced almost all her medications to the minimum, and she started having withdrawal symptoms like a drug addict would. So she's been a bit of in and out of ICU with them trying to find a good balance again with the medications. But before that, there was really positive signs. She's able to eat liquid foods like yogurts, pureed food. She's a lot more alert. She'll take notes of people walking in and out of the room. She answers basic questions with like the blinks of her eyes. And yeah, she's with the specialists. They're really good with her and can get her to. It's almost like you go out for training and you get the most out of yourself, and they're able to do that with her. So we don't always see how much she's actually doing, because when she is with the specialist, she's giving 100%, and she comes back into her room. She's I think really tired and trying to recover.
And how did you process all of this? Like at a human level, how did you manage to, keep going? You said that Jess was your biggest supporter. You wanted to keep going, but what were the emotions around that? What was going on in your head at the time?
Um, to be honest, in the first year post the accident, I don't think I processed everything. Um, I obviously understood everything and knew the outcomes and what the potential future is like. But I think I kind of, I was after 3 weeks post her accident. My parents pushed me to get back to Europe to carry on racing. And it was always in the back of my mind, but I don't think I took the time and properly yeah thought through everything, and had the time to process it. And it was the beginning of this year where I really had a really bad period, and started went to places like really dark places. Yeah, I pushed some really special people away from me, and even made my parents pretty scared at times of where I was going. So, but fortunately, I managed to get the help I needed, and turn that around.
Yeah, yeah. For me, mental health is something that's really personal to me, and it's something that I like to be as open as I can about to try and sort of reduce some of that stigma. When you say that you got the help that you needed, do you mind sort of talking to what sort of help did you have to seek out? Was it talking to mates? Was there some sort of did you end up doctors, things like that?
Um, at first it was me, I think, expressing my emotions in probably the ways I shouldn't have to other people, which then led to that me seeing what I was doing was not, that I knew I was doing something wrong, but I wasn't understanding why I was doing these things.
Mm.
And eventually I had people suggesting, like the people that I knew meant best for me, suggesting I get get assistance in this because they can see that it's affecting me. And that was when I was like, I really need to take that step. And uh I first started with a psychologist, but after a week or two I was in a really bad place, and I went to a psychiatric clinic just to try fix the problems, because it was pretty bad. And actually in that process, I was also diagnosed with ADHD, which going back in my life, it explains a lot of things and why there were times where I was doing well and others not so well.
Yeah. And I think testament to you, you've managed to clock in the year that you have that experience. You've turned around and you've gone and clocked your first professional win at the Volta of Portugal this year. There is a reel, I think it's on your page actually. So if anyone wants to go and follow Byron, it's a page worth following. But there's a reel of the emotions of that win. What was it like when you know, it looked like you were solo for a while? When did you know that you were going to get that win? And when you start realizing that, what's the emotional toll there?
Yeah, on that day, honestly, it was a strange day. We had like neutralizations due to the wildfires. There was even points in the race where I was going, there's people potentially losing their houses, and here we are racing our bikes with, in the neutral sections, we had the firefighters or coming past us with their vehicles in both directions. And yeah, I don't actually know how I managed to switch myself back on, because there was a lot of, your mind goes into funny places sometimes, and when I hit the final climb, it just, everything seemed to light up. And I still actually at the line didn't know that I had won the race, because of all the groups that had gone up the road in after the neutralizations. So when I asked the guy at the line, did I win the race? And he was like, yes. It just everything came out in one moment.
Yeah. And have you had time since that to sit with Jess and to tell her about it?
Yeah, unfortunately, when I finished the Volta and went home, it was the time where she was in a bit of a bad period, and I didn't really get. It didn't feel appropriate to speak to her about it, because I could. She was suffering quite a lot, and you don't really want to, when someone's suffering like that. You don't. I didn't want to share the success that was something that she would have wanted to achieve as well. So I was still waiting for the right time to sit down with her and speak about it.
Must be something that you're so excited to, to go through your first pro win, your first elite world championships. You've done a lot for her. That must be special. Does it feel like you're doing this stuff with her there? Or does it more feel
Uh,
like you're doing this stuff for her?
I feel almost like I can do more when I'm not there, by racing, by creating awareness for not just her, but other causes. So I feel I can, I get a better output by not being there, because my parents are there with her 24/7, and there's not much I can do to help her. So it's better me doing what we both love, and in doing that I can carry on almost living her legacy a little bit, while doing it for myself as well.
Yeah, totally. And with that, going out and living her legacy, you're in the form of your life at the moment, and pathways are opening up for you. How are you feeling about your future in cycling at this point?
It's I haven't really had time to think about this properly, but it's, as a under 23, I kind of missed that boat of making a jump, and yeah, I feel I'm maybe in that position to get that opportunity again, which is really exciting. And yeah, just it would be a big change and something I've worked for a long time, and yeah, something hopefully that evolves into something bigger.
Yeah, well, I'd like to give you the opportunity now to sort of talk to that GoFundMe page that you've got. Do you want to run through what you're raising money for and what you're hoping to achieve out of setting up that fundraising page?
Yeah, so basically since the accident, at the time our family had a health insurance which only covered us for a certain uh budget, and after 30 days in ICU that budget was emptied. And yeah, with the process of us relocating to Spain, our parents had sold their house and a lot of their belongings, and basically everything they've had, they've spent on Jesse's recovery now. So up until now, all the rehabilitation specialists, special wheelchairs, emergency surgeries and things like that has all been their expense. And yeah, uh, it's dried up pretty quickly. Um, we are in the process of working with the Road Accident Fund in South Africa, but there's a lot of problems there. So the funds that we were supposed to receive are not coming in yet, and yeah, all the donations that are received is put towards Jessie and giving her the support she needs to try get back part of her life.
So what's the road accident fund? I haven't heard of that. Is that sort of an
Um,
insurance scheme or?
yeah, it's a coverage in South Africa where a percentage of each litre of fuel bought is put into a fund which is to go towards accidents that happen on the road, and cover medical expenses, loss of income, and all of those things.
That's actually a really cool initiative. I don't think we have anything like that in New South Wales or in Australia. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, there's with the way South Africa is at the moment, it's trying to get those funds is really difficult, and I won't even go into details, but there's a lot of uh, corruption and things, so it's not easy to get that. What they say they're going to give you is not easy to get.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, look, Byron, I appreciate you being heaps open with this. We've been through some pretty heavy stuff. I'd like to. Normally, we end with some advice for cyclists, sort of making pathways. But I think what I'd prefer to ask you, if you're okay with it, is if you could make a plea to road users. I guess maybe like kids that are about to get their license or something like that. What would you say to uh, anyone really, but a kid that's about to go out and drive for the first time? What would be your plea to them?
Um, it's something I've mentioned before, but yeah, driving is a huge responsibility, and yes, there are many accidents that happen, but anything that's in your control and causes damage to someone else is that to me is not an accident. So yeah, taking responsibility, for how big of a getting behind a car. It's a huge responsibility, and if it's glancing at your phone, getting in the car after drinking, that's in your control. And if incident occurs after that, that to me is not an accident anymore, and that becomes the liability of the person that caused it.
Yeah. Yeah. My parents always said to me that you are driving a weapon, and that
Yes.
weapon has the power to take people's lives, and it's a big responsibility. And I often think that when I'm driving down the road, I've got twin daughters there, 2 years, 9 months. I often think I consider myself quite a good driver, and I try to be as responsible a driver as I can, but there are only so many things I can control, and I'm trusting every single person driving around me to be going the speed limit, to be functional, to be not under the influence of drugs or alcohol. You know, it's I think we often underappreciate the responsibility that we have when we take the wheel. And yeah, it's powerful, man. Appreciate it.
Yes. Yeah, I
Um,
think don't do what you wouldn't want others to be doing. Because you would not
yeah,
want someone else driving in your direction looking at their cell phone coming towards you. So it's all just don't do what you wouldn't want others to do.
yeah, absolutely. Hey, Byron, what days can we watch you in action at Worlds? So the time trial and the road race, is it?
Uh Time trial is the 21st and the road race the 28th.
Well, wish you the absolute best of luck. I'm really excited to see the only elite South African. You'll be easy to spot out there, I guess.
Yes.
I'm genuinely excited to see you, and I am so much more invested in watching you go around, knowing your story. I hope this helps get some awareness out for what's going on with Jess, and also just that message of just being responsible out there on the roads. It's something that's really powerful, and I genuinely appreciate your vulnerability here. You've spoken about some stuff that must have been tough, and I thank you for it.
And yeah, thank you for having me on the show and being able to share a bit of the story.
It's an absolute pleasure, Byron. Genuinely, and if you ever want any of that pushed again, just reach out, and I'll do my best. But yeah, thanks sincerely. Appreciate your time, and genuinely, best of luck with World Champs, mate. This is your week, and as much as you'll be riding for Jess, you've got here, and I can't wait to see you tear it up. Try and hang on to Poggy's wheel.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really
Yeah.
looking forward to taking it all in.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, mate, we'll leave it there. But if again, Byron, what was Jess's Instagram page handle?
It's Jesse's recovery.
Yep. And he's Byron Munton on Instagram. We're Domestique Cycling Podcast on all your podcast platforms. And if you could, again, as asked above, please subscribe so we can continue getting these things out and getting them to as big an audience as possible. But thank you very much, and appreciate you, Byron. And I hope everyone has a good week and enjoys what's coming up with World Championships. It's really exciting to have the first one in Africa. Thanks, Byron.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.